CageClub.html is brought to you by the fine folks at the Cage Club Network. For all things movies, media, music, comics, and more, check out CageClub.me. That's CageClub.me.
Hey everybody, I'm Nico.
Which makes me Kevo.
And this here is MCU.html Falcon Winter Soldier Reaction.blogspot.
Episode 3. Oh, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Well, I mean, okay, and I'm not coming at you, but I feel like you're not getting as dressed up as I am.
I will. Give it time. I'm not, I don't have any ideas for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What am I going to do? Wrap my arm in tinfoil and brood?
Well, that's a really good point. I'm here dressed as Wolverine today because while Wolverine didn't show up in the third episode, Madripoor sure did. Wolverine's always losing his hand. So here's the thing about Madripoor. It's the best. Logan hangs out there a lot. I love Madripoor. There are some really cool connective tissues between Sharon and Logan, so even if we didn't get Logan, we got Sharon.
Sharon came home. Well, we came to Sharon. We came to Madripoor. Not for Sharon. She just happened to be there.
We were just sharing the Sharon space?
The way that people are just, places by coincidence.
Well, you know who wasn't anywhere by coincidence in this episode?
Who?
Baron Zemo.
Yes, if we're going to talk about episode 3, Power Broker, we might as well start at the very beginning.
Yes.
Because we are going to Austria.
Yeah.
So,
right?
yeah.
And to answer everybody's question,
Sound of Zemo.
He is a Baron.
Yeah.
It's not like that's his name.
No. This saw a sort of retcon of the character of Baron Zemo from Captain America Civil War. Is it really a retcon, though? We barely got any information about the character there. It was surprising that he's a Baron, because his car was really shitty in Civil War, if I recall, in those flashbacks.
And now he gets an itchy mask that looks like insulation.
So yeah, he's clearly a guy that makes weird choices if he puts on that purple mask. So sure, he was a Baron the whole time.
And, okay, I loved the kind of, sort of, Rube Goldberg Zemo trap escape of Baron Zemo. Here's why I liked it. I love Guardians of the Galaxies. We're gonna do a breakout because I'm a little rodent guy, and Groot being like, trees break free of things.
I love a heist,
right?
And breakouts are the same as heists.
But I needed this one to be short as shit. If I only get 6 episodes, I don't have more than 5 minutes to give to any heist. I don't have more than 5 minutes to give to anything in a 6-episode show. I loved how much this episode wanted to do a lot of things at a breakneck pace. And for a show that's so serious, Zemo, from the moment he's back, is funny. I don't have a habit of rooting for Nazis or anything. I'm pretty not in a judgy way, but there's things where I'm like, oh, you're a Red Skull fan? I don't get that. You know what I mean? I just don't get it. But Zemo's time in a book called Thunderbolts is one of my favorite weird little comic things from the 90s, 2000s. And it was really great to see a Zemo that kind of reflected funny Zemo between the breakout and the reintroduction. The point at which, though, I was reminded, oh, he's Zemo, this is an espionage thing. Killing Nagel.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming. I feel like I should have. And once it happened, I was like, yeah, because I was sitting there thinking this guy's going to have to be dealt with. He clearly does not have any moral quandary over what he's doing.
Well, I thought he might have injected himself with super soldier power and fought them, and then they just shot him, and I was like, oh, well, so much for that.
Is surprising. I don't know why if you come up with that sort of super soldier serum. He even makes the point of it doesn't give you the hulking body. I'm surprised that wasn't a twist, but Zemo killing him, that's why you have a wild card, chaotic villain dude like that as part of your posse because you need a character who will be able to do something like that for you.
Like I said before, I love Madripoor. I mean, this is straight up Madripoor for me. I loved getting to see these sort of other versions of the same people that two of them are. Like, because this was just like, Winter Soldier and, like Baron Zemo. But like, it was also like, hey, check me out. I'm like super fashion fabulous Sam. And I love that Zemo was like, he's a fashion forward man. It was just so about this presentation of character.
Sam's not very good undercover though. The whole thing with the cell phone was weird in the first place. I don't understand what was going on. That Sam was like, tell me exactly what you mean. What? That was weird. That made no sense to me. Having his cell phone not on silent when he's on a mission doesn't make any sense to me. You made yourself look bad that Zemo was better undercover than you were.
Now, I love getting Sarah and Sharon. It was cool getting both strong women.
It was good to see Sarah.
But it made me feel like they didn't know how to use Sarah, that this was the context they used her in.
Yeah.
There's better ways to kind of insert her into this. And they set up a bunch of interesting characters as this Madripoor underworld and then killed them off immediately.
Yeah. What?
I was really disappointed because I really kind of thought that was an interesting vein to go in for this show. And look, Emily Van Camp, EVC, it was just about time. You're a security blanket on ABC and ABC related projects for me. I love your work. I'm sure you're watching this at home right now in what I can only imagine is your revenge mansion.
Oh my God, in the Hamptons.
Oh my God, with an Everworld pool house.
With those flowy curtains.
And a brothers and sisters garden. We're big fans of both Emily Van Camp and of Sharon Carter. And it was just so great to get to see Sharon because I'm a Peggy fan. I love Peggy. No. But one of the things that makes Peggy magical is the period piece experience.
Yes. And I had been so excited for the casting of Emily Van Camp as Sharon Carter because of her time on Revenge and knowing that she had experience in doing stunts and action. You'd be surprised the amazing work that she did on Revenge. So it's why I was looking forward to her casting as an action figure like Sharon. And we never really got much from her. So now we finally are. We got so much action from Sharon in this episode, and we got more characterization from her as well. I love that she's a little bit hardened. As Bucky puts it, she's awful now, but she's not too hardened.
Right.
She helped them. She backed them up. She covered them while they were talking to Nagel. She went in to get them out when there was danger. I was worried at the end of the episode that this might be the most we'll see of Sharon for a while, but then there was that moment where she gets picked up.
Right?
That feels like it's leading somewhere, so I think we will see her sooner than later.
Sharon's kind of famously a triple agent, so it would make sense to me if she's posing in the underworld and needs to keep her credibility as though she's been disgraced. It was great finding out that she was blipped. I mean, I don't like knowing she was blipped, but I liked knowing that she was blipped.
And it helps understand her characterization a little bit better. She's been on the run, but she hasn't been on the run for 7 years. She was on the run for 2, then she was blipped, and now she's on the run again for the last 6 months, but it's not that entire time, as opposed to a character like John Walker, that he has the experience of not being blipped.
And I think one of the things that's most important to remember about Sharon and the casting of Emily Van Camp is that Emily Van Camp had played Emily Thorne on Revenge, which was a character who was actually pretty coded male. She's based on the Count of Monte Cristo, and so she's a little bit closer to a Batman analogy than she is to anything else. I had been expecting this non-coded female, but with the seductive femininity of a modern television appeal actress to come in and play this character that is also frequently coded male, very strong, very powerful, while still retaining her femininity and her sexuality. And having never gotten to see it and seeing her kick ass more in this one episode than women got to kick ass in most of the Marvel movies combined.
For the first 10 years.
For the first 10 years. It was just really great to finally get that payoff. I'm glad you brought up John Walker, because this is a very different John Walker than the comics. He's better.
We didn't get much from new Captain America / Battlestar this episode. There's that moment of intensity where the guy spits in his face and he's like, "Do you know who I am?" It's very ham-handed.
It doesn't stand for France.
Yeah, I don't know. I imagine we might get that little moment from John Walker. I don't know. Similarly, anvil-y and ham-handed, the appearance from the Flag Smashers this week. It's just so by the numbers. We're freedom fighters, and I really want to be a teacher, and maybe I'll be a teacher someday. You won't be a teacher. You're not You're not going to be a teacher. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen.
I only stole superpowers because I know I can be trusted with them since I never make bad decisions.
And I'll never make bad decisions again.
Because I have so much superpowers.
And then, of course, you know, the real bad guys are the people that are sitting on the supplies. But then I blow up the thing because it's the only language they understand. Like, yes, excellent. Let's demonize the freedom fighters by making them overly violent. They snuck it in at the end.
Okay, and like, I get it. Flag smashers are like, we smashed the flag to save the people. Everybody gets money, but it's not socialism that we're pretending that this is.
We dress like Casey Jones.
Really, it's some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle chic. The thing about it that I think is really interesting is that they are taking this and they're kind of vilifying what should be a maybe better portrayed thing in today's day and age, when they should be pointing more of that malice at the power broker, who the flag smashers themselves are afraid of. The power broker we know like nothing about, but like people think it's mad sus that we don't know who the power broker is, and I'm like, maybe it is, or maybe it isn't. Maybe it's, you know, another case of Wu's friend,
Or Mephisto.
This
Is the new Mephisto.
Because I've seen people be like Sharon Carter. I see in your notes that somebody thought it might be Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, I saw a headline
You know what?
somewhere.
Fine. Then for my same fucking money, it's Aunt May. She's actually secretly the power broker, golden oldie. It's Aunt May.
How can Sharon be the power broker if she's only been back for 6 months? I mean, it's not the most ridiculous thing they've ever done in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, obviously.
Maybe
But
she was the power broker, and then she blipped away. Somebody took her place. She came back, killed him to get her spot back, and now she's the power broker again.
But she's still a triple agent at the end of the
Well,
day.
maybe now she's a quadruple agent.
I don't know. She flips all the way around. Speaking of amazing women who are badass at espionage, yeah, the biggest twist that I think Marvel Studios has pulled off in 2021 so far, I'm including everything from WandaVision. I did not see AO coming. Oh, that was so exciting. Bucky's like finding those little beads, and I was like, I don't know, that could be anybody.
Yeah, I had no idea where it was going, but now I'm like, how did I see it?
Who else has that technology?
And you know what? I love that it was AO. They could have gone for a Nakia, or they could have gone for a Shuri or an Okoye. But the more you bring an AO further up through these ranks, the more she rises to the echelon of a Shuri, of a Nakia, of an Okoye. And that's what I want. I want more fantastic, amazing women and characters of color thriving in the Marvel Universe. And it's steps like this, because she's not some high-ranking actress that you think of. You know, it's not like Helen Mirren was hanging out on the set. People might not have noticed her if they kept her in a robe and kept her head down with a hat on and a really big mask.
We have no idea what role she's going to play in this season at large. So
Truly.
We don't know if it's just going to be this scene, if she's going to be in more. We don't know where they filmed, as to how difficult it was to keep this under wraps.
No, they filmed in Sokovia.
Sokovia doesn't exist anymore. It was dissolved.
I thought I had this joke, and then you're like, no, your joke doesn't even fit the logic of the universe.
Politics. Pay attention.
I'm loving this show more and more. I started out loving it like a 7.5 or 8, and I feel like I'm ticking up. This was like an 8.45. I felt like WandaVision was kind of like, fuck me 9.
10 after 10 after 10 after 10 after 10 after 10 after 10.
I felt like raw meat when I was done watching an episode of WandaVision. But then ultimately the payoff was a little bit harder to sustain than the contents of the weekly drive. Here, I don't have that fear the same way. I feel like I'm much more likely to walk away from the events of Falcon and Winter Soldier saying that ending fit that show all along in maybe a slightly less subtle way than WandaVision. Not to compare the two arts directly, but to say that, you know what, this might not be the water cooler blockbuster every week, but it's not like they're asking me to watch Marvels according to Jim.
Yes.
No offense to Courtney Thorne-Smith, who, Allison Parker, you are always going to be... I'm always going to root for you, Allison.
Allison, we love you.
It's me, Billy.
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 Why do I want to say Billy Campbell? That's the actor, right?
No, yeah, he's got that famous sister, Billy Shue.
Andrew
Shue.
Maybe it is Billy Campbell.
Yeah, I think he's Billy Campbell.
Isn't that also an actor?
Yeah.
Shit. I definitely agree that WandaVision's finale maybe fell a little bit flat after the continuously ramped up intensity and continuously amped up mystery of WandaVision. Whereas Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's a little more what you see is what you get. So a surprise like AO showing up is huge.
Enormous.
If they think a surprise dramatic ending is Baron Zemo is going to turn against them, no, that's not going to do. But this week definitely proved at the midpoint that they can surprise me, and they certainly are keeping me engaged still. The soundtrack this week was phenomenal.
It put the stars right on Cap's shield, man.
Hit after hit. I'm excited to see John Wick Part 2 next week.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. And then only 2 more after that. And then we'll have Loki coming up.
Loved that new trailer. Can't wait to talk more about that over on MCU, the podcast that we do. HTML, you can check that out over on the Cage Club Network.
Which is where you can also check out this guy talking about all things X-Men over at X's4 Podcast. Ain't that right?
Yeah, you can find us twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, where we review all things X-Men. And now we are expanding our reach to pretty much all things Marvel. That X is starting to stand for the unknown more than the X-Men. But until then, you guys can find me over on Instagram and Twitter at Nico Action. That's NicoAction.
And you can similarly find me over at Kev O'Reilly, KEVOREALLY.
And until next time, keep those Falcon wings flappy, those soldier arms wintry, and those agents 13Z.
Keep that arm wrapped in tinfoil. Keep it fresh.
But, I mean, as of right now, don't ever let Black Widow come out.
Why? Why would you do that?